very volatile day today, and what has made history across many different sectors, and what is playing true in the easiest or the truest way possible with XRP, crypto. We talked about how XDC's been laying the foundation. You just follow the tracks and you base your decision around what it's doing, and then you follow suit. So we were able to go very liquid before this drop again after a small move up. I talked yesterday about it was an embarrassing gain of about 2.4% in the portfolio. But at the same time, I'll continue to try to buy in at different areas where I feel like we could get a sustained rally in the micro. And then if it shows rejection and can't get out of there, I'm just going to sell out and buy it a lower. So that's the way I'm approaching this market. It might not be the appropriate way or the right way for some, but I just buy and sell the support resistance. And if the market says to do something, I attempt it. But then when it invalidates at a rejection point and can't get over it and shows no volume, well, then you got to let it go. I got to get my charger for my tablet. Hold on.
Forgive my ignorance. What is perceived performance?
They can attribute a sale
This one's
based on the idea that you were exposed to an ad. Whether or not you were actually incremental, maybe they were really good at targeting the person who was already going to buy it. Yes. And they get credit for the sale. That would be the perceived performance.
All right, sorry about that. My tablet to read comments and stuff is about dead, and I don't want it to die. Well, alright, sorry, because if it dies, then I'm gonna have to reboot it, and then it's a pain in the ass, and it's only at 7%. So, knowing me, I would forget about it. So, good morning, everybody. Crypto, the lack of volume once again is sending us down. It's okay. It's okay because when you can't find volume in the sections or in the trading areas, you got to go farther down, and you just have to acknowledge it. That's why we accept it. We move on and we attack when it's appropriate again. As far as the metals go, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's very interesting this morning because you could call this two different ways. One, we're getting ready for a pull down in the miners, or two, we're getting a shakeout this morning, like in things like PLG and things like, well, I mean, the miners just went up so fast last night. I mean, not the miners, the gold and silver. So there's different ways to look at this market. Very different ways to look at this market. Do we think we're getting a correction right now, or is this just the morning? Let's fade out retail in the morning, and then it starts pushing up, or are we coming to the end of what's been a very parabolic run? I don't know right now. It's tough, especially with platinum, because it seemingly is undervalued versus gold. But at the same time, you know, we'll see how this plays out this morning. This kind of seems like the jockeying this morning, but we're gonna have to see what kind of movement we have, because we've made new all-time highs in gold. We hit over $120 in silver. And this is important because we want to see how we react there to see how money's flowing. Right now, at the same time that gold, silver, the miners, well, maybe not the miners, but gold, silver, platinum, the sound money, copper was up 10% as of this morning. You know, the risk off was garnering a lot of money. You know, and the Fed chairman yesterday said something that really hurt us. You know, it really hurt us. He talked about how holding the US dollar is like for the retail, basically, how it's basically, he didn't say catastrophic, but he might as well have. He might as well have told you were holding a ticking time bomb. So I expect platinum. I think platinum's going to move back likely over $3,000 and then start making another push. I think PLG dropping off 4% this morning was a bargain, unless we fall completely out. I think... what other ones did I see? I don't really want to speak on gold and silver mining stocks because they went up a lot. And then PLG, if it breaks down, obviously, if platinum breaks down here, then we can talk about that lower level if it came through. We're in a consolidation. I'm watching it because we're on two opposite ends, and I like the volatility, so I like to watch the ones that are real volatile in these moments because crypto is volatile. And right now, this is what we're looking at with PLG, and it's set up in a short form. So if this were to break down instead of breaking out, maybe it could show we're going into a little bit of a cycle transformation after the dump in crypto. But crypto, the problem is we have our own problems there. Platinum futures is at 2807. Oh, if MQ was in here, is MQ in here? Nick, what do you guys think of platinum real quick? Because platinum's the volatile one that's behind. So if that falls apart here, or if it starts to rally out, it's going to tell us a lot about the market coming up. So just pay attention to those. And then obviously with XRP, just to get our heads in the right space, XRP here, we fell out, but we didn't fall out. This is just, well, we fell back within this back test area. But we still haven't finished the fallout if we're going to fall out. So that we have to be very understanding here. Like here, we're still on the back of the channel. So if we stay here at $1.83, I mean, it could still be just a pull down. The volume is killing us, though, every time we make a push up with no volume. What really needs to happen here, if we're honest with ourselves, what really needs to happen here is we need to come back down to that $1.56 and try to see if we have a base, in my opinion. Because coming down to $1.50 and in those areas really hasn't been doing any work. You know, hasn't been doing us any good. We haven't, even when we get into those areas, we fall out with volume. So the lack of volume is, to me, it's a little bit of a warning sign when you get a little bit of this volume pushing in like this, or the lack thereof. So, and it warned us that, you know, we're just, and I wish I could say something different, but I'm going to be very honest. Until we get the volume, we're not going to be able to break out of these resistance areas. It looks like an inverse head and shoulder. Yeah, that's what I was seeing in platinum as well. Let me go to it before I forget. But that's what I was seeing in platinum as well. So it's interesting because it looks like an inverse head and shoulders that's attempting to break out. So, but we still got to overtake this recent high. We've got a little bit higher up to come if it wants to. This seems like a normal fading phase on the morning open. This generally happens. But it looks like an inverse head and shoulders. Absolutely, I agree with that. That's why I'm going to be very interested to see if this pushes out this morning after kind of, I feel like it was a shakedown in the mining stocks this morning. For good or bad, it looked like a shakedown to start the morning. So it's actually up to you if you think the miners are a good deal compared to where the stock price is, if you think it's going to go up. The danger here is that this all just falls apart because we've been so volatile. But I look at platinum as kind of a steal in this scenario, almost like we looked at silver versus gold. The typical platinum to gold ratio, it's not supposed to be 2-to-1. 2-to-1 is at a weird side of town. So I'm expecting a moment, like maybe gold's up 1.5%, but you have a 5, 6, 7% day in platinum. So it's just, we came off of the FOMC meeting. Everybody's trying to digest the news. We knew yesterday it was going to be awful for risk assets. MQ, what's your thoughts on platinum here? Do you think this inverse head and shoulders is going to push it up? Because it's so tricky right now. Because it looks like we have a nice setup here. We're going to stay overbought for a long time if we keep pushing like this. But it's a... I mean, if it falls out, it would be telling you something, but it feels like platinum wants to do something here. It really does. And another thing is normally when platinum's going to dump out, PLG will open up 8 or 10% down. the fact it caught itself just around 4% is another kind of got to pay attention here, because if platinum gets back over 2,800 and starts moving, something seems off here this morning, to be honest. So I'm looking at that volatility. I'm looking at the crypto volatility to the down direction, which leads me to believe that people are trying to find the risk off, which would lead into a carry trade just from retail that would end up leaving risk on. And they're going to go seek out any opportunity maybe in metals. So we're going to see what's going to happen here very quickly. The fact that USDT, it came out, is buying a bunch of gold over an extended period of time, and even more now as well, is alarming, because we all know USDT is just the US government in disguise, printing out money. Just like when they print paper money, they got to print out digital money, basically, which is just, you need the paper now. It's just on a digital screen. Creates liquidity that's not there. So I'm actually very intrigued this morning to see how this plays out. So, no, I know, Mr. Stop. PLG, that's why I said these prices for PLG, when they have dips like this, I had a buy order set up, and I mean, it's got a tight area where I might let it go if it went there, but it filled that order with the morning. I didn't know if it would shake out that much, but I had an order in the mid to low 330s, and I'll be damned, it filled. So we're gonna see how this goes this morning. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure what to think here. I have it tight to where if it did break the structure, but no, I mean it's got a little bit of room, but I don't know. The miners, they leave me in a weird spot, because look, silver came up over 120. But what gives you a little bit of okay, well, money finds yield, right? So investors are going to try to find where they feel like the money is the safest avenue of least resistance. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I think they would do. I feel like the path to least resistance would be in metals this morning, especially because it was the risk on with the FOMO. It's not going to be, I mean, the real money with what Jerome Powell said is, he basically said, you need to invest in sound money right now, and later we're going to have a risk on rally. I mean, he might as well just said that. He might as well just said, we can keep talking about the risk on versus risk off debate, but until further notice, risk off. It gives me that feeling. Call of Aldebrand said, I'm stuck in an XLM long. Well, I mean, you're only as stuck as you want to be, but I understand that. Now that it came down, where are we at with XLM? 20 cents, 4.4%. And I mean, XLM, the problem was when it came up here, there was no volume with XRP. And then for XLM, it's the same thing. When XLM came to its area, it had no volume. It came up to this resistance area, and there was just no volume. And we said it's coming down, probably all it can do. Stochastic was way overbought, but there was no volume in the smaller time frame. What I could see happening is if risk continues to fall, and we have remember we talked about the 10 to 15% drop across the board, it would just happen quickly. It's doing it in layers, so we're not even realizing we're losing 10 and 15% right now, because it's actually doing it in layers right now, which is actually pretty spooky, if you ask me. I think doing it in layers is much worse, because then you don't realize it, and then all of a sudden it hits you on a 10% day, and you're like, holy crap, it's down 22% in 6 days now. MQ, what did he say? Nothing yet. Dan, welcome in, and thanks for joining Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. That is my face superimposed on that emoji badge. That is much appreciated. Seriously. That is much appreciated this morning, I must say. But yeah, XRP dragging a little bit here, definitely. Oh, for XLM, the targeted area right now, since it fell out of this area, and it's actually playing down, like these bearish pennants now that initially played down, and now these got wider on like these bearish setups, even though it had a chance to turn out. But if this continues, we're so oversold, that means there's no momentum. So just because it's oversold, so that's where that 19.1 cent targets comes from. So now we would have to look for that 19.1 cent area on XLM. And if that's the case, I mean, for XRP, we know the drop down. It's $1.70. What is this right now? $1.77 area, $1.78. Then we've got down below like $1.68. But ultimately, I'm looking to get back down to like $1.56. Oh yeah, the $1.69. That's a big area. That's what, if that breaks, that could lead us into the $1.56. But the problem is if that breaks, it technically, these targets just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the downside. Like, where does it end? Where does it end? Like, if this happened, then all of a sudden you're coming down towards a liquidity sweep down near $1.21. And then if the descending triangle breaks, that's actually suggesting that we're going to have more than a liquidity sweep. And we're going to break down, you know, sub $1 and retest the 7-year consolidation that finally broke out. That's why I'm so intrigued right now to see if these miners just dump out or if we end up pushing up. You know what I mean? Or if it's just a quick rotation this morning. We're going to learn a lot this morning. We're going to learn a lot this morning. I can tell you that much. Like, a lot. What kind of volume is pushing out? What kind of volume is pushing in? We need to know this. We need to know if we're starting to get a shift. I need to know. I need to know. I want to know. Because we're about to get a lot of market info right now. And it's so early this morning that I'm all for it. I want to see this. Either lead us down so that maybe risk can grab a little bit of attention after this drop, or show us that we're going to continue in this risk off because there's just no sound money that wants to go around here. But I mean, at some point, are we getting that dump out now this morning? I mean, I would love to hear from this audience. I really would. Because this is important for our risk off. Because if we rotate, if for whatever reason now we start rotating, this could be a big thing. But this could, I don't know. Yep. It very well could. We'll see what happens this morning. We'll see if it's so volatile. Man. I wish I could give like a better insight into all this, but it really is so volatile right now that it's hard to be like, oh, it's going to do this or that. But we did come up so quickly. 2008-12, and it's almost down $100 from the top again. This pushed through. Let's see if we have a pattern that formed, because I want to see if something's going to rotate the risk and it can stop this nightmare. We'll be able to see quick on this too, because you don't want to you don't want to get rid of a horse until the horse loses the race, but it might have lost the race here, so to say. But we don't know, because we have to see where how this pattern ends up setting up. Is this what it's setting us up with? This is the moment right now in the pattern. This is where we learn it all. Are we rotating, or is this a shake? Is it a shake and bake or a fake and break? These are the truly exciting times in the market, because this, we could be seeing it in real time. That's the flip. And we got dumped down here, so if we end up doing this properly, maybe we could create that liquidity, because we're already so oversold that at some point, we just don't know where the point is. But at some, and this beautifully got rejected again. So maybe Bitcoin does have to come near 80. You know, maybe we are going to come down in those areas. And if the money starts flowing out of here at the same time, I'm just trying to create the point. If money rotates out of this section, oh man. But we have to make sure that these aren't just these up. We went up. Now we're going to back test this move with the metals. Don't even worry about the miners. The miners are not important in this discussion. It's more about what is gold, what is silver doing, what is platinum doing as the more volatile one, what is copper doing, and copper is kind of on its own because it's by the pound, but it was up a lot today to start. So a lot of money finds its way into other spots. So, oh, this is so damn intriguing to me. It is. It is. Because we're trying to find a baseline. I don't have a baseline yet. The best I can do is maybe the way it's setting up right now, we don't know. But if it comes through and it just says, oh, we're done. You know, we had this unbelievable push out and now we're done. Or after that push down, does it try to come back up midway and try to retest the drop? Oh, this is fascinating because every single metal is doing this right now. It is fascinating. Certainly looks like something's going on. Is that finally the caveat that built the head? Or is this just back testing? Oh, this is everything. I know people don't want to stay for this kind of coverage, but this is everything for metals and for crypto, to put it bluntly. We're rotating a little bit. Crypto, that doesn't mean the money's going to go right to crypto. If it happens, we still got to find our floor. So let's pay attention to $1.77. Let's pay attention to if that breaks $1.69, and then if that breaks ultimately $1.56. Oh, I appreciate that, Define, and thanks for being a very trusted mod and here in this entire community, trying to guide us and help everybody who needs help. This could be something here. Platinum Futures is holding up, but that could just be taking a minute. Obviously, platinum, I mean, it's shaking and baking here a little bit this morning. Because now all of a sudden it's, we don't know if this is a base, but at some point this has got to crack the infrastructure. It really does. At some point, this has to happen. It's fascinating. I'm just fascinated right now. Because we've talked about when it happens, it's going to happen quick. But until it happens quick, it hasn't happened yet, but this could be a moment where it's starting to happen quick. And it happened right on the open, which is typically what would happen. If it was going to happen, it would typically happen on the open. And then you just have to make sure that it's not a shuffle to try to brush people out from retail. That's always the question. Are they doing it because retail's just now getting a nice foot in and then they want to shuffle them out? Or is this the start of something? You know, we've been talking about this. At some point, it's got to have... It's either it's going to end or it's going to have to keep grabbing this liquidity like this every morning or every afternoon and then push up. The thing that's alarming, not alarming, but crypto, we know it has to make this drop now then. So if it goes to $1.76 and holds, or $1.60, that's the question now. Well, maybe it could hold $1.80. But now that it's in this zone, you would think $1.70, let's see, just to get this chart right, because TradingView moved it. I could tell that wasn't right when I looked at it last time, you pilish. $1.78. So $1.78. $1.69. Or then all of a sudden we have to open up that $1.58, I think. And that perfectly rejected there. There's $1.56 underneath. I mean, or $1.56. I mean, both that comes up twice, not just in that descending triangle that absolutely appears. So we've got a lot to look at here. And that's why I keep looking here, because if this is not a fake down, if it's not a fake down and we're actually clearing out, we could be doing a dump in miners. I mean, not miners, a dump in crypto to go grab that liquidity in this area, and then we might be able to rotate quickly. That's what we're looking at. Unless this just came down to shuffle people out of this sector, that's what we have to pay attention to. And I don't know yet. We don't know yet. Because basically all the miners have done is they're back testing the move. I mean the miners, the metals, they're back testing that move up from yesterday. So I don't know what's going to happen yet. It's impossible. What I would like to say is happening is that these are exhausting for a minute, and that all of a sudden the money's going to find its way into crypto after this dump down, and it's happening at the same time. And what we want to see is a 10, 15, 20% drop right now in crypto. Your comment on PLG, you talked about it down to $2. Still, I mean, honestly, look good. Same thoughts. It may back test that God candle and take that sell side liquidity to $2.94. I could see that. I want to see if I missed anything else. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That's a great thing to look at, Mr. Stott. I'm actually interested in that same side. I was looking into hydrogen years ago. You know, a long time ago. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here, if I'm being honest, with the metal side. It feels like we might have got into that hyperbolic movement. And maybe that was the moment finally that it broke. Maybe that's the moment where it broke.
So of course my agent doesn't tell me that I'm going to be working with them for that day when I get to set the Wranglers, you know, and like they'll make eye contact.
Why did you pay for dinner?
If you owe the IRS money, don't wait.
Hmm.
Today you have options. Tomorrow you might not. Optimal taxing specializes in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program. Call it.
I want to be so in the moment here. Good morning. 10:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, January 29th, 2026. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. But yeah, we're it's coming down right now. It really is. We could experiencing finally what we've been waiting for. If this is the case, we really need to watch this very closely. I mean, I could still see platinum eating up in this kind of an environment if it takes some of the metal liquidity, because it was down a little bit farther than some. But I don't know, man. I don't even know if this is going to be able to. The future platinum price, for some reason, is picking up some steam. But the actual spot platinum price, well, maybe it just hasn't started pulling this wick up. Interesting. Let's see. Is this putting in a broadening wedge? I don't know. Trying to find something that gives it a baseline to make sense, but I can't make sense of it yet because it's just falling out. It could just be that it rotated out. You know, it could just be that we're rotating out. But we won't know, because that futures price is interesting for platinum. Being up at 27.24, that's a bit of a disparity. But that could just, I don't know. Well, we're about to find out here. What's happening is we're getting a, you know how we've talked for many, many days about at some point we're going to get that movement up, but we don't know when it's finally going to rotate. We're either getting that rotation starting right at this very moment, or this is grabbing liquidity again, and we're going to get some kind of hyperbolic movement back up in the market, in the metals again. But this very well could be the start.
Transfers. With everybody wanting to become a tech company, how many inbounds are we getting for more companies to make a Walmart move and become listed on the NASDAQ?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. It's great to be here. And we are really proud of the results we delivered for the quarter and for the year with 12% growth overall and 11% growth in our solutions businesses, with every part of our business contributing, including our listings business. And when it comes to transfers from the New York Stock Exchange to NASDAQ, we really focus on several different key differentiators for us. First is we are the home to great innovative tech companies, but innovators across every sector. And I think that's what
So what do you guys think? Silver's down 3%. I'm just saying.
is becoming much more technical.
Because when it happens, guys.
Part of their innovation story. But you can innovate across industries, and these innovative growth companies gravitate to NASDAQ, including Walmart, which we're so excited. It's such an amazing.
I'm trying to cover this in real time in both sectors so we can see if this is something. Because if this is something else right here where we could be coming down to those levels. Remember, I said it's going to happen fast in crypto if it does. So if you see a 10 to 15% drop, let's see if it's $1.77. Because we were close to there. I don't know if I missed it because I'm going so fast back and forth. Not yet. So we have $1.77. We obviously have two charts that show $1.56 if this support is broken. We've got $1.69 before or below $1.77. So or $1.78. This is our immediate support right now. If this breaks, then we would come down to that $1.69 area. If that breaks, then we've got two supports that suggest that this would be a logical bounce area at $1.56 roughly. Could extend to $1.58. But this would be classic. Although I'm still not convinced until I'm convinced that this isn't anything more than just a shakeout. So I have to be very careful here watching metals before I can just say, oh, we finally rotated. Because we have to make sure that this isn't just the morning up, go fuck yourself to retail because they get so nervous all the time. But if it is, if this is the push down and crypto's doing it simultaneously is the best case scenario. This is the best case scenario right now. But we don't want it to just come back up here. We want this to rip back through farther. Although it came close to $1.78, but we want this to rip through and just get to that $1.56. If I'm being honest, we need to invalidate this whole shitty structure and come down to $1.56 roughly. Really, we really do. $1.58, but that's what I want. Call of Aldebrand. My liquidation is 19,589. Oh, you're in a leverage trade. I thought you meant you were in a spot trade when you bought it. Well, the technical target on this drop down is like about 18.8. So that might not be a good area to have your liquidation. But take it as a learning experience.
It represents about less than 70% of their annual cash flows in aggregate. So imagine
Wouldn't this be brutal to lure in on metals overnight into the morning? Wouldn't this just be a brutal proposition if this actually is the end?
I do think the public capital markets are going to play a bigger role. This investment is a change in the infrastructure of our economy.
Because you can't, I mean,
Industry experts are going to be coming in and delivering
how else can you even really save this pattern right now? I mean, you can, but I'm talking about in the short term. Because if you're looking in the micro, like what is it building? Because it's going to have to pull up. Oh, wait a minute. Interesting. Now this is building something. Now we can actually see. Now I can take it from a wider scale. Interesting. So at least platinum is telling us right now.
Is it possible that we have the same kind of delayed, revenue problem that we had then?
So first, I would say I was at NASDAQ.
That's interesting, actually, because this is literally in real time. We're going to watch to see if this is falling apart or if it's getting the next bounce in real time. Basically broke it off into two structures. And the second part of this could actually be the back test of the overall move up. So we have to see if this pulls back very, very quickly or if it falls through, because right now it's going to have a battle at 26.60 or 26.63 roughly. That should be a battle zone. I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. Oh, it would be legendary if it recovers. Yep. It definitely, this could just be a gap hit and right back up. That's why I'm saying I'm not convinced just yet, because this could be a legendary shakeout. And then we just continue going. I'm telling you, I mean, I've seen this too many times, so I'm not gonna call it over until it's over. I also want to see crypto continue this consolidation. Sure, some people can buy right here, but I think we're still in no man's land. MQ says, I think we're see distribution and profit taking. It's going higher. Unfortunately, it's sucking out of cryptos for capital. Absolutely. That's why I got to, I know I own metals, but I get excited when I start to see a little bit of siphoning, but at the same time, it's kind of telling you everything you need to know on this drop down. There's no volume pushing in here except sell volume. So, and it continued in the 30 minutes. So there's no reason to think right now that any of that money that's being pushed out right now in this sector is pushing into ours. And that's what kind of hurts a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. I just want to see if this is actually doing it finally. But I'm not convinced, like I said. I actually think if this isn't a breakdown, like PLG, some other ones are probably giving a good opportunity, like I said, if this is just hogwash, so to say. I don't know, though. I guess we'll find out in real time together, folks. I think crypto... What do you guys think where crypto's at right now? Do you think it holds this area? I'm glad so many of you are sticking with us. Obviously, being in real time right now, I like to look at all markets so we can try to keep a rational mindset. Yep. There is going to be some stuff with the White House, absolutely. I put some stuff on Facebook about that too, actually, which is kind of funny. There's a meeting next week. But yeah, that's definitely something going on. But this is one of those mornings when all markets are bleeding a little bit. Private citizen, what did he say?
My healthcare provider had agent force, powerful AI for sales force. AI agent would have automatically paired me with
Let's see.
Hours ago. Like what he did.
I know that's Lee. That's why I want to make sure that this isn't just one of these. Well, we're gonna shake out retail again right before we start flowing in more liquidity, and I don't know though because we're starting to dump a little bit. We got to see how far this pushes. To be honest, we have to see how far this pushes. Makes you feel a little good though if we're talking about a rotational movement here at some point. If it starts doing this. The one thing that leads you a little bit on edge is we want to see a little bit of volume coming into this sector. And we've got this market right now on crypto by the balls because we have the perfect opportunity to see what's going on.
It's the perfect time to burn fat and build muscle at Orange Theory.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's all an illusion. That's why I said that's why I said we've gone a little lower now than maybe. But we have to see if these are wicks or what. But we'll find out. We're gonna find out very quickly here, together, which is awesome. And I've been warning about this with the miners for a long time that when it happens, and I talked about the extreme profit taking that me and my brother had taken here. So we'll see what happens. Like things we hadn't done in a long time. Now the PLG position's on life support because of where it opened in the low 30s. If it goes down too far, it's just going to sell it out. So that is on the fringe of just going goodbye. So, but this certainly seems like something is starting. This is fascinating. Like, welcome in real time, everybody, to what can happen and why I was pushing it for days, weeks, even months, not months, but definitely weeks, about what can happen, not just in risk, but risk off after a very, very severe push up. Oh, this would cause a ruckus. Just think about it. This would cause a ruckus. This is where the ruckus could be caused. And in retail, think of all of retail that rushed out now of crypto and they threw their money in all of this. I don't know. We're kind of getting past the point of no return here, folks. I don't want to be that guy if you're in metals, but we're kind of getting past the point of no return. And when it happens, man, it happens. Messaging my brother.
Like you're talking my love language.
This could be over. We'll see. Because it's literally come down past those gap areas. Oh, I'm not worried at all about silver crashing. I want it to crash. I've already told you guys from a selfish standpoint, I want this all to crash. I want to buy all of this 30% cheaper in the miners. I want this selfishly. I didn't talk about dumping a bunch of the miners finally for no reason. Like this is, I I don't know, but this certainly seems like it's gone past the point of no return.
Your child's future starts today. Families across Michigan choose the Troy School District because every day is filled with opportunity. From hands-on that sparks curiosity to arts and athletics that ignite passion, something extraordinary is always happening. Ranked one of Michigan's top districts, Troy provides challenging academics, incredible teachers, and a community where every student belongs. Join us in our new
Talking to my brother,
now for schools of choice.
because he's watching this too. He watches this close.
Future ready, where everyone belongs.
But we'll see. If this pushes down past this level, this is where we're gonna know. If gold gets down below 5,000, and if silver breaks below 100, like that's where we're getting now. We have to make sure that that's not happening. If that happens, we got a problem.
ServiceNow delivered a strong sales outlook, but shares are under pressure as investors raise concerns about how AI could disrupt.
That's how they get people out think it's gonna crash. Yep, absolutely. So that's why I said I want to make sure that this is legitimately breaking down. Because, yeah, it's a big pull down. But we have to make sure that it legitimately came past the no return here. That is a very violent move, though. We just have to make sure, like, let's just make sure that all of this breaks. Otherwise, this can just be a overzealous move. But the other thing that happens is now retails, all they've seen is every time gold and silver has a big pull down, it just completely pulls back up the same moment. What if that's not the case this time? Because in the hourly, I haven't seen an hourly one like that in a while. I don't even know if, so we just need to see. There's so many optics that can be played here. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. Because, fuck. The miners are going to tell us a lot too. And look at that sell volume. Volume predicts price. That sell volume was more than some of this push-up volume here at the end. That's a significant sell candle. That's the part that gets me worried. Up until now, and PLG, unfortunately, officially sold out now. What a waste of 2 or something percent. Anyhow, it was just a small amount, but still. Because now I want to see if it comes down into the lower area. But, hell, it could pull up still. Who really knows? Who really knows at this point? But we know it was getting overzealous in the buying over the top side, too. So this could be a nice little... It's just that gold being down 5% is a lot. That's a lot. So we need to make sure that if this comes under 5K, it probably topped. Nope. I'm not. Okay, so with the miners,
Secondly, we put a hybrid pricing model in place on our AI platform, and that enables the customer to not only get the predictability of the seats in the budgeting process, but also on the business casing as we give millions of assists with our profile. Once they run through that,
it's up to you if you're looking for an opportunity right now. What I'm looking more for than an opportunity, because I took a lot of profit out of the miners, as you guys know. I've talked about it on this last push up. And now it was just small opportunities I was looking for. But right now, it's more about, for me, do I skim more, out of certain things off these reversals? If this is going to play out, because I have a target for B2 gold, if this is a double top, which it actually came up here now, it would either be 440, or my fear is it never swept this area at 335 after such a long pattern. I think it's going to probably come down to that 335 possibly and retest that initial breakout. So if it does that, but I have to be convinced here.
if I may, Caroline, just explain
Jay Moore, I'm not sure what you mean, but if you're trying to just be a dick, I mean, what would you like me to say? Those are the words. It's exactly what it would be doing. I don't know, you got that negative energy, and sometimes it's a little annoying as fuck, to be honest with you. You know, if you want to go play with a can of shit, go scoop some dog shit from the backyard and put it in a can and start kicking it down the road. Then you can kick a can of shit. Let's see. It's all an illusion says, laugh out loud to disbelief that metals could have topped. Reminds me of when Tom called the crypto top a year ago. Yeah. And the crazy thing would be is if this happens again in metals, it did exactly what we talked about to lure everybody in the top. And it's dangerous as hell. And the simultaneous flush in crypto at the same time right now is the part that really puts it over the edge, because this is exactly what it's. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell people to buy silver at 109 when I was telling them to buy it at 17, 20, all the way up to 27, before 30. I felt like, hey, everybody, and we had years in this community. We had like 2 years together to buy it in those ranges. Let's see. Because honestly, when we bring the negative energy, we don't have the focus on what we need to be. And Mr. Moore, I think you could be a vital part of this, because obviously you know all the FUD, nonsense, and bullshit, and it's gotten you in an emotional state. And I understand that, believe me. But we've got to get positivity in here, my friend, and I want you to be a part of this. Your negative energy can turn into positive energy, and it can help fuel this community and help give us the fire we need to look objectively at the proper cues and the proper yeses and nos. You bring another mindset. We need it. I encourage it. Everyone expects a bear market. It means the bear market will be cut off. Everybody expects a bear market is the exact ironic part. We've been in a bear market, so everybody's waiting for the bear market. And if you're talking about crypto, everybody's waiting for the bear market. The ironic part is I called the bear market starting in January of 25. And that's ironically when the 9th year of the bull market started in gold. And ironically, if this all ended now, which I can't say it did because we're still over 5,000. We're still very strong in silver, over 100. So let's just not get too over our heads. Too ridiculous right now. But this is the 10-year. Every 10 years, gold has a 10-year cycle usually, and it started in 2016 this time. If you look at where the pricing was. So was this the blow off the top? Or something greater? Is this just a monumental clawback so that we can get some of this liquidity cleared out? Or are they really going to drop the noose on people here? Because remember what I said in the open, one of the key signs would be if you start seeing PLG down 7 or 10% and not just 2 to 3%. And now you're getting there. With the other miners, you got First Majestic down 7.6. Yeah, that's basically where we're at right now. And I'm okay with it. If this actually did rotate, I am okay at this moment in time for it to rotate a little bit, because I see such an opportunity here. And look at VeChain. I'm going to look at a VeChain is going to be part of the buy now because it's falling through. I just didn't want to do it if it didn't fall through. But if it falls through and comes all the way down here, oh, I'm going to be a big proponent of VeChain on the XXX HOS strategy. Because this has opened up so much capital, I can't even describe it. This just keeps opening up more and more capital every time it drops farther. And it gets scary because you start to look at what you can do if it starts getting lower and lower and lower. And we've talked about it, how we're so lucky that XDC has been guiding us this whole way and proving that this is all bullshit. XDC is either going to come down to 356, but we can't come too much farther for XDC. I circled it. If you come too much farther than where I circled the bottom down at about 3.2, you could invalidate this entire inverse setup. I don't really want to do that, because then it means we're literally going to go into a steeper It's the opposite of hyperinflation for crypto because it's the same kind of thing, but it's a nightmare if it happens in crypto. Like it is a fucking nightmare. Yeah. I don't know how else to say it. I wish it wasn't like this and things rotated so quickly, but unfortunately, if you want to know more about this and you want to go deeper, how we can make these decisions and what actually matters in trading, you can join the classes that start on Monday. 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's just like a normal class, guys. Some people are going to be able to see it in real time. Some can watch it in the rerun. It's just, unfortunately, there's no right answer because I've got people in different countries. But this absolutely looks like, we'll see, but it looks like we started a very strong reversal here for the first time. This looks like a double top maybe. It finally looks like we might have done it. Now we don't know for sure, but like for First Majestic, we never back tested the proper way all the way down at 928. So I'm looking for historic buybacks after having great rallies on these, to be honest with you. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find historic buybacks if this is the end. And it's been a great rally. We bought these at the $4 range. You know, we bought Hecla at the $4 range and it was up at 33. Now it's probably come down a lot. But I talked about when I unloaded. We bought B2 Gold in the low 2s, mid 2s, high 2s, low 3s. We bought Fortuna in the $3 and $4 range. We had Dolly Varden much cheaper, but like I said, sometimes you got to call a spade and just, you got to let it do what it's got to do, and we were overextended. And this overextension, it'd be crazy if that was a cycling top because that means we got out at the exact time of the rush. For anybody who was following that, and we got in right before the mainstream even took notice by just about a half a year, which would make that the perfect trade if this is actually a rotational top, which means if we're right about that, it means we're right about crypto as well. It's going to flush down. I'm still looking at $1.58 or 6, but we have to get through $1.77 or $1.78, then $1.69 or 8. But this is flowing exactly like we've talked about. If you need confidence to be in this community, we are flowing exactly like we've talked about. If you needed to see this in the right mindset, remember my conversation with MQ in real time in the live yesterday? We talked about, it's over. That's the time. If you're in this, I'm sorry, but I don't make the rules. It's over. Like, it's just over. And that doesn't mean it's over forever. That just means you don't want to be part of this. It can't be a bear trap right now, guys. We've been a bear market. A bear trap suggests we're in a bull market as a bearish drop. This is just the continuing the trend. Everybody keeps getting what everybody else is telling you in other communities and screwing it up.
I'm Guy Johnson at the Dubai Air Show, and this is Bloomberg. Trading day is about to start.
You're already looking for that edge.
The opening trade brings you everything you need to know as markets open across Europe. I'm Guy Johnson.
I'm Anna Edwards.
And I'm Tom Minette. This is your opening trade.
Only on Bloomberg.
Wow. That is nuts. That is nuts. Anyhow. But yeah, so that's where the confusion comes. And I've not been pushing that message at all. I've talked about the bear market.
This is the first significant debut for a Brazilian company in more than 4 years. Joining us now is the CEO of PicPay, Eduardo Cheddid. Eduardo, thanks so much for joining us. You know, I was watching you ring the opening bell there, and I think the first question a lot of people are asking is why would a Brazilian company, a Brazilian bank, want to use the NASDAQ for an IPO? What pushed you towards that decision?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. This would be crazy It would just be, and I think it would be the most ironic and most kick to the dick thing they could ever do to retail if they did it like this. Because think about how many more people were fully invested, and they finally said, this is the can't miss trade of the century. Think about it. And those people probably rotated out of crypto and said, well, if I'm going to lose money in crypto, and I talked about it before, I might as well just lose it in the miners.
Also trending 82% increase from the previous period. Also with a
Man, this is going to be...
0.4. Well, Nasdaq, first of all of our peers, digital peers.
If this happens, this is going to be the greatest depancing in the history of retail. And this would be the, oh man, I almost am scared if this happens for a lot of retail, because now they've gone in the wrong direction and started investing in all of this
Coming to the market. So we're really happy.
Yeah, I believe that
at these prices. So now it's what I talked about. You lock up your liquidity when you shouldn't be locking it up, and you get caught with your pants down if this is breaking away. It doesn't mean it is, but seeing crypto simultaneously fall like this,
company by market value.
and now we're into that next support, so now we can talk about areas. Is this the area?
Players. What do you make of the state of competition?
$1.78's now been touched.
At bay and potentially grow beyond that?
I don't know. It seems like a big sell candle, so it doesn't seem like this might be.
And Brazil is one of the most dynamic financial markets globally.
We can look at the 20-year. I've got the 10-year government bonds. I believe I have up here still.
There will be more.
Oh, the 10-year government bond. The yield is down 2 basis points, or 0.47. It's at 4.23%.
Great job. I think that in the end of the day, it's all about actually delivering really good services and products.
This is my heart's racing because
As well as innovation. We've started in 2012 by basically pioneering instant payments in Brazil long before real-time payments became standard.
you want TLT. It's on illusion.
Was already
TLT, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I told you so badge. I can absolutely look at TLT.
and as well as in
That's the iShares, so I have a lot of familiarity with it on the NASDAQ.
keeping up with all that product velocity.
I could put this up at the top too, so we can see the 20-year. Actually, this would be a good one to put up there. So we have the 10-year that we can at least look at.
Actually can make a meaningful impact.
Are you looking at the 20-year Treasury bond ETF? Is that what you were looking at?
Able to do that. So
Is this the right one? Because there's a couple different ones. I want to make sure this is the right one.
a full-fledged digital bank. So we'll keep doing that.
Oh, if it comes out of this silver and gold, if this is just a shuffle, if this is legitimately just a shuffle,
Relatively tight labor market. You have a growing
oh, it would be something. We're gonna find out here very quickly, because gold still got about 2.5% to 5,000. And let's just call it what it is. We still got about 8% until we get down, or 7% until we get to $1 or $100 for silver. So that's your break point. We gave ourselves a lot of cushion. Can we hold those points? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Can we hold these points?
Will be below the bracket.
Right? If we can hold these points, then it's going to reverse very quickly. And then crypto is probably still going to be punching itself in the face, because where there's no liquidity,
What can be done this year?
Hey, Eduardo, thank you so much.
exactly, where is it going if it's not going into crypto? It's got to be going somewhere. And then if it pours out of metals, you're not going to get that initial push. What I said before is some of this money is going to be pulled out with Japan and silver and stuff, because their yen and the way the carry trade is going to work is they might have to sell crypto and their metals and stuff, and it could cause that short term
Michael Wall, our MLive
part where you're getting everything going down at once. I mean, it can cause that disruption. We'll see though, because we've seen many times the market start like this and then they just recover. So that's why I said I'm not ready to say it's over for metals. I'm just saying this is where we're getting a warning signal, especially with the miners. The miners dumping down 7% in PLG, First Majestic down 8, Fortuna down 6.2. That's a warning.
It can't be explained away simply by the Microsoft's slowdown.
But then you look at all markets, the NASDAQ's down 2.25%. The S&P's down 85. Now, does it go back to what I've been showing everybody? And I just showed it again for the first time this year. Remember this, what we talked about a couple days ago? I know Mr. Stott was very influential in this conversation. So this shows us you have the A, B, and C years. So A is year in which panics have occurred and will occur again. B, years of good times, high prices, and the time to sell stocks and values of all kind. And C, years of hard times, low prices, and good time to buy stocks, corner lots, good, etc. And hold till the boom reaches the years of good times, then unload. Sure thing, save this card and watch it closely. And guess what? It's nailed this to the wall. And we've talked about this before. It has nailed this to the wall. So let's just look at this rationally. Let's see which one deletes it. Not that one. Maybe I have to go to the other color. Oh, not that one. There's one that deletes it for me. Whatever. I'll keep it on here. So when you look at this, right now is 2026. So the numbers in between. So if you come down here at 2023, there's a number here that says 3. That means it's a 3 years of good. So you buy in 23 and then you ride it until 26. But that means when the times are good, you have to unload it in 26. And then it shows 6. That means there's 6 years of down to 2032. But then after 2032, you have a series of 2 years to get here, and then you bounce out to the, you get back here. So right now we're in B. We hit B in 26. Years of good times, high prices, and the time to sell stocks and values of all kind. So this seems to be repeating. Well, we've seen it in 2007. We went 2005 to 2007. This was just one extra year. Notice 2005, 2 years, ended in 2007. Then it shows 5. So you had 5 years of down. And then you ended up at 2012. Then it says 4 years up. And then the 11 at the bottom is the gaps between the times. It tells you. So right now, there's a 9-year gap between the bottoms of 2023 to 2032. And there's a 3-year window if you buy in 23 where you can ride it to 26. Think of crypto. Buy in 23, sold in 26. Well, 25. 26 are shit years for crypto. But these aren't considered value. But anyhow. But 2032 now you're talking about a 6-year downturn. And it's remarkable. So right now when you get to B, it says B, years of good times, high prices, and the time to sell stocks and value of all kind, which means for the next 6 years, opportunity is going to be presented. These are the years of hard times, hyperinflation, inflation we're in right now. We're in all this stuff. Low prices and a good time to buy stocks, which means when it comes down here, we're going to have 6-year window where it's going to end up being at some point. The bottom is going to be reached. And by 2032, we should be reversing back up for 2 years. Except this time when we get to the median, we have 8 years longer. In totality, we'll have, well, it's not 8, but we'll have, 2 years up. And from 2020 or 32, it's going to be an interesting ride. But then you have 8 years between 2026 and 2034 between the last good, the years of good times. Except this time, it's not going to stop there. You're going to go all the way up to 2035, and you're going to be able to get into years in which panics have occurred and will occur again. So this is basically the blue man. This is basically the holy grail right here.
Using AI, they can end up being a winner. So I think awareness around disruption, awareness of change is so important. I do think it's one of the advantages in the U.S. I think the adoption.
I don't know. Did we put stock into this? We talked about this over the years. I just decided because my brother asked me to resend it to him, so I pulled it back up from the saved files a couple days ago, and it's just remarkable. That's when we looked at it and we're like, as much as we've been in these for a while, we've done what we need to do, and it's true. We did what we needed to do, and I told you about my dream about mining stocks. Isn't it ironic this happens the day after I'm telling you about this dream that I had the day before? That all of a sudden, all this stuff was going to drop so fast. And we were going to top out And then we're going to wake up and all of a sudden we're going to be down 30% in the mining stocks, gold and silver. And I talked about silver back at 80 something and gold, I think it was 42 or 4,600 maybe in the dream, or 38. I can't remember what it was, but we're finding out right now in real time what's happening. Like, that's the bottom line. PLG's down 10% now. We're finding out in real time. And it's a crazy thing.
I think we're going to be looking forward to your first AI produced holiday video. Let's head to here. John, just on a more serious note, I can't let you go without asking about the disruption coming from policy in Washington, D.C., be it a government shutdown,
But yeah, my brother's just texted me. He's up in Canada, so, you know, when I get to talk to him, I like to talk to him. But, like, I want to see how this prevails the rest of the day. I really do. I really want to see how this continues because, yeah, like I've said, the mining stocks, all we need is a little bit of down from gold, silver, platinum to correct. Like, we could correct 30% if it stayed in this area for too long. And then they're going to figure it out. But this is why I say I love Peter Schiff, but he's never going to tell you that it's topping out. He's just going to, because in the end, it probably won't be. But for retail, we don't have that much money, so we can't afford to be losing. If we've made $100,000 or $50,000, we can't afford to be losing $5,000 and $10,000 a day consistently and just give it all back. We don't have that resource. Well, some people do. I don't have that resource. I'm not worried about it at all. I have precious metals for that. I don't sell any of that, so I couldn't give a rat's ass. I'm just looking for opportunity to get a good opportunity to go very deep for cheaper in the miners again. That's all I look for. I look for overbought scenarios where I can dump out when we have the parabolic spikes. And then when it gets cheap again, I buy back. I've been doing this for years in the miners, and it took a lot of guts and a lot of fortitude to get to where I wanted. But there's a reason I'm looking at this so deeply, because at some point in crypto, the weekly reverse back down. And we're probably not to where we need to go for the lows, unless we can keep that $1.80 and it's just a wick below and now it came back. But if we could clear this out, legitimately clear this weekly out and just dump. Clear this liquidity wick. And then if it has to, the hell with it. If it has to, come down here to 86, 88, 84 and back test this 7-year move already. Yeah, I noticed that I gotta wait for it to come back on the TV, but they're all getting killed. Yes, it's crazy, isn't it? It's all an illusion, because that asset class back in January of 25 was the mining stocks. Gold, silver were in that conversation, just not to the same extent. Well, silver probably was. But the miners were there. Now it's crypto. The only difference is with crypto, the weekly stochastic is moving down, which suggests that we need to clear this up. We need to find the true bottom. That stochastic broke bearish for good reason. I would really love us to just try to test some of these areas. I just want it to do what it's going to do, so the least amount of people need to get afflicted. I say this all the time. This market movement, for me, from a personal standpoint, I'm not afraid to stay in front of it. So when things happen, I'm not afraid to be bouncing around if I have to. Some people are afraid to be like, oh, I need to get in and out. Like, I wasn't afraid to take 2.3% in crypto. I didn't care. It gave one opportunity. If it would have broke out, it could have been much more. But the right words weren't said. Gave us a rejection, no volume, and it said, goodbye, I'll take my 2.3% after the small fees. And I even said it's kind of embarrassing to put that much money in and only make. But it shouldn't be embarrassing. It's still $400 or $500 in profit. You know, and back in the day, I would have had to make a 30% gain just to have that kind of profit. So, or 50% for fuck's sake. But what feels good is to be able to be like, okay, I'm just trusting the technicals and I'm just going to do what it says. Now it's got to prove to me to actually, the next time I get in, I don't necessarily know what the scenario is going to be. But I do know I want it to be for a longer cusp. But I know in my heart that's a head and shoulders pattern if this plays down. And we never back tested 57,756 And that's the overextended. Well, let's make it a little higher because we can get away with it. Hold on. Let's get away with as high as we can push this son of a bitch out. Okay, we can get away with a little bit higher, and we definitely need to get away with as high as we can go because we don't want to oversell this. I'd rather undersell this, and then it keeps coming down farther. 59,000. And the reason why I think this is fine is because this is where it created the cup and handle. And it did create an expanding, broadening wedge, which is interesting considering some of the patterns that are being built right now. But if this held up here on this handle, it would be the first back test of the handle. That's a rising wedge. And until it's not, in some different definition, that's bearish as fuck. We talked about it a long time ago. It broke down and it's bearish. And now it even came back and back tested. It's bearish. That's a bearish pattern. There's a bear flag and it's bearish and it's bearish. And there's a bearish pennant and it's bearish. And there's no volume and it stays bearish. Even if it moves up, it's bearish. Volume predicts price. It's easier for people to agree. And there's more people here. Remember the bearish talk a week ago when there was like 80 people in here? Well, at least today with the bearish talk, there's 135. More people are willing to click. The one thing I get a lot of good feelings about is that a lot of people do decide to come in here in the high times of volatility because they know we're going to look at it rationally and see what the hell's going on. And then we're going to know. We don't know shit yet. Right now, it's just a logical back test of gap areas that have overzealously dumped down through. And now we need to make sure we're not getting a rejection back up on the buyback. In the miners, it was noticeable, though. The volume was drying up on some of the miners. Not in a bad way. It was actually a good drawing up because on the consolidation, if we had it, there wasn't significant sell volume on most of them. Silver still has a lot of buy volume. But I could make the case this week that it's finally showing a bit of a drop off. Finally. You know? Nobody wants to make the argument, but I can certainly make it with gold as well. To have that big of a blow off the top, and we're at Thursday, folks. We only got one more trading day here. Like the volume, we can call it for what we want, but the volume definitely dropped off here a bit this week. And just, I want you to familiarize yourself with one pattern. Not a toy. How about this? Bearish. Doji. And we're not in a long leg. We're not in that kind at all. But we have different... Oh, it's not a spinning top that we're looking at, I don't think. We have a different... Where's the one that I want? Oh, yeah. Shooting star. Sorry. I don't know why I said a spinning top. Spinning stop is the long leg doji. A shooting star. So a bearish shooting star looks like this. Okay? See that? That's a bearish shooting star. Well, I honestly think in gold in the weekly, we might be getting close. That could be a shooting star if this stayed out like this. Xavier Gaysmith, very happy guy, says, I like that there is never any hopium in here. Just straight backs. I'm up $700 on this short from $1.91. Loving this drop. Hope it drops more. Oh, beautiful. I love it. We'll do the train. This is like the train. You don't want to get on the tracks when the train's coming because this is, you know, the tracks are coming. The train's coming. You know, so, but you also don't want to jump off the tracks when there's some meat on the bones and it's going to avert you, like the vert. With the short right now, though, I would be careful only because that $1.78 is in range. So that would have been a legitimate target if you were shorting based on the first pattern that we're looking at. In the short-term consolidation in the micro of micro, technically your first sell signal was right there at $1.78. So that's been achieved. So you have to remember, take profit 1 would have been $1.78. If you're more ballsy, take profit 2 would be around $1.69 if you're in that kind of a game. ultimate take profit to see if there's going to go all the way down there, as now we've confirmed a series of lower lows in this drop, legitimately. Lower low 1, 2, and lower low 3. Oh, shit. Yeah, definitely created lower lows here. But yeah, so just be careful. I mean, money's money, my friend. AI thinks it's still going down.
What do you think is the counter argument to that concern
What do you?
in the market?
We got so shooting star is a red close. I said it's working on becoming a shooting star. I said I don't know if it is or not because it hasn't finished this yet. That's why it's important to see if it continues. It was just what it was starting to look like, is all. I was saying it's starting to look like to me. But that's speculation, because if it just pulls back, it would have to come down farther, though. It would have to come down. Might even have to come down below 5,000 for that to be official, for something like that. No, it's all an illusion. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a great question. I should have clarified it better. I was just looking at how this wick is pulling down, and if this pulls down far enough, it could pull itself into that bearish reversal. Yep, we did. We had an 18 something like this to happen. Absolutely. That's why we want to make sure if this is just filling some of the moves up. Because just as quickly as it goes down is just as quickly as this could pull back around if this is nothing more than a let's shake and bake here. Right? So let's just, that's why I'm trying to be emotionless. I'm trying to watch it. The fact that crypto isn't getting any buying pressure is a good signal that we could push down to the next area of $1.69-ish, $1.68, and then possibly farther. If silver, gold, platinum recover, well, I mean, it puts even more of a kick in the dick to the mining. I mean, to the cryptos, because they're risk off. Risk off can't afford money pouring into the mining and pouring into the sound metals. It just can't. It can't afford it. And that's the truth. I'm not trying to sugarcoat. I'm just saying we can't afford it. So what we need to happen is, as much as I love the miners, we need them to start rotating. So instead of people going, I'm just going to buy the miners on the push up of gold and silver, I'm going to put some of this in the risk off. I mean, risk on now, because my risk off after all this movement up, it's now starting to come down way too fast for being a risk off kind of play. If I'm going to lose 6, 7, 10, 15% in a day, I would rather look for a bottom and risk off. And that's where you start to get the rotational movement. Some of the money is finding its way into oil. Now, the oil stocks themselves haven't moved much. They're attempting a breakout point. But what we were talking about, the potential to buy was 20 cents. And then we said, well, why would we buy there unless we're just buying a quick trade? Let's see if it gets to the top and breaks out and confirms it, because you're only costing yourself. You know what I mean? If you're being honest with yourself, it's not a big difference. If you bought no one's buying 1,000 shares at these prices. But 100 shares, well, 1,000 shares from here, it'd be the difference between a couple $1,000s you're waiting. But if you're spending 22, you might as well make sure at 24, 20 to 20. There's just things that go into this. But right now, don't get too excited either, because metals are retesting the initial drop point. So we need to see if we can get back over this equilibrium.
Irrespective of what I use today, I don't use that. I use ChatGPT.
It's over for crypto.
The totality and functionality of
2028 now. It's been over for crypto since January of 2025. It was just a matter of if people were going to come to terms with it or not, or they were just going to ride it all the way through. So that's why everybody is really, they got trapped by other people who talk about that we're going into a bear market. It's like, where have you guys been? We've been in a bear market for a year. Just because it came back up and tapped the resistance on some things, we're in a bear market. Most crypto has been in a bear market for like 14 months, 13 months. Some, like XRP, got back to a double top. It didn't alleviate the fact it just took longer to start. It actually made it worse, because now more people got. I talked about it when XRP made that move up. Oh, now it's going to be worse. Now more people are going to be trapped. It was almost a double-edged sword. But right now, the move down now, just for gold and silver, there's nothing. No, it's nothing right now. It's only if it doesn't come back up and it breaks down again and gets below the low from today. Now we at least have a baseline. We didn't have it this morning, so we didn't know. Now the miners can obviously get kicked real hard, but that's just what happens. You take money from somewhere. But that's been, like I said, that pull down. Now we're finding out in a very fast pace. It went down to 106.76, now back to 111.70. The way that this actually ended up setting up in the end, could you argue at the end that it actually was building a rising wedge? Well, that's an interesting debate that we could have. What's not a bear market? Crypto? Well, you need to get your definitions out and start looking what a bear market is. Anything up to 20% you can call corrective. Once it gets over 20%, it's a bear market. Once it gets into 30%, it's a bona fide bear market. The fact we're even having this discussion and altcoins are down 50 and 60% is mind-boggling. That's a bear market, friend. Don't fight it, bird. That's just going to do your emotional state a very disservice. You can't trick yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. It's absolutely a bear market. Even Bitcoin's in a bear market. As much as people hate hearing that, we're in a bear market, guys. So you're looking for opportunity for the bear market dumps. That's how you don't get trapped. That's a bear market. Even year to date, we're in a bear market for XRP because it made a big push up. From that push up to start the year, we don't even need to go back year over year where it's down 40%. But year to date, we're down 2.3%, but from the top, I mean, you're talking about a nice, healthy push down. You're just caught up in between right now. It's as unreal what actually happened here, what we're looking at over the month. You're talking about there's somebody in this month that bought near $2.40, and you've went from that all the way down to here. No matter which way you look at this, it's a bear market. Which is crazy. No matter where you bought. Look at beginning of January on the 5th. No matter where you bought, you're in a bona fide. Even this isn't a more than a corrective state. It's 25%. If you go from the top of the cycle, which is where you can measure from if a bear market officially started or not, XRP is down from the top of its move. If that's not a bear market, what is it? We're down 51+% from the top. If that's not a what constitutes a bear market to you? Are you just counting from the lows that we started at and you're saying we're up this much? Well, that doesn't keep you out of a bear market. When you're in a wow. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand. It helps me learn. Helps me understand. Getting a pretty strong pullback here, though, folks. Right now, at least in real time, pretty strong pullback. This is good to see. If you're looking for metals to continue and you want to get cheaper prices on crypto, if we get a stronger pullback here, and this isn't just trying to lure us, some of retail back in. Like I said, there's tremendous opportunities out there if this is just trying to reach back for liquidity and start to push back up. So there could be something extreme developing here. How strong is the 80K? Oh, it can go lower. But that's a very significant area, of course. At least to me. To go down to 80K, you would technically want to try to hold that area. That's a significant area for me. Because 79,627 is the dump down out of this lower target, out of this lower bearish formation. But it could extend all the way to 67,280. And the problem with that is it's right on the weekly 200 EMA. So it's a very tricky spot. That's why I said I love having precious metals, the actual metal. You know, and I love being able to dip in and out after being in for a long time with certain miners because you can find opportunity. But at the same time, once that opportunity is confirmed, guess what? It takes another. So if there's an opportunity presented in risk off, it's taking it from somewhere, which means, again, the reason we're not seeing a big buyback here in crypto. And if it starts tugging it back in here, I'm telling you, this is going to be a problem for crypto. If it all ends up if everything recovers today, and this isn't just, you know, anything more, because we said as long as it holds 100 for silver and 5,000 for gold, it's fine. Those are your benchmarks now. If those benchmarks hold, sure, we can have some sideways consolidation. Sure, the miners are going to be very, very sporadic. Up and down. But if you're looking at it from gold and silver alone, today hasn't changed anything. It can't even confirm a top is in. All it's done is a healthy correction as of today. If it closes below yesterday's low. What was yesterday's low? No, that's why this is an important moment. You're getting some buyback here, but if this is just, hey, we're coming back up to hit the gap resistance now where it was supposed to be support. Yeah, escrow dump happens in a couple days. And it's going to be weird because Friday's the 30th, Saturday's the 31st, which means Sunday's the escrow dump, when the futures market technically is not online yet. So you could get some hyper volatility, which is going to get pretty scary, actually. Man, this has been a fascinating, if anything, this was a fascinating live to watch with all of you. A little bit of buyback here in crypto. This is why I told the person with the short, like $1.78 technically was a sell area if you're in a leverage trade. That was technically your area to, now you can watch it and see, do we come back up to $1.84? Or do we just fall through? We don't know. Or is this a reversal area? Because remember, everything always back tests it, moves. So now that we're at the bottom here, technically we filled this out for a third hit now. Now it actually validated this pattern that I set up, ironically. Before there was no validation, we only had 2 hits. So now a proper validation, if we stayed here and didn't break back above, would be to get rejected at 184. And then if they did get a rejection there, that could be the overall nail in the coffin. Just like with or it just falls right through because there is no bounce back volume. And then with the gold silver, if this doesn't come back above, like, I would say throughout the day, what, 114? And if gold stays, you would get, yeah, you probably would get some panic sell in the open. But I don't know. I see a pretty healthy recovery right now. I'm looking at things like PLG, how it's looking right now in this pullback. I mean, that looks like it's a pretty healthy pullback. And it kept this in a nice consolidation still. As of right now. This has stayed in a very nice consolidation, hasn't it? So, I don't know, guys. Like I said, I'm not convinced yet. Until it proves me that this is rotated out, I'm not convinced just yet. I got to see more evidence. I have to see more evidence. Because right now, and honestly, I've seen this before. We need to see if this is continuing, if this is just a normal shakeout. Because we've seen this before on the way up. Oh, we've seen it before. It just gets exacerbated every time when the pricing is higher, that's all. So, we've seen this before. A lot of times. So that's why you got to be careful before you count your chickens, before you've even laid the eggs. Tomorrow will be low, in my opinion. Are you talking about with metals? Watch them pump DXY and screw everyone. Oh, it's going to be difficult, but I mean, I could see a little bit of a pump to finish building this out, but, you know, right now it's got to break out of this pattern, and it's getting rejected at it right now in the short term, so we'll see. I feel like right now though we're having like this has been a classic shakeout right now. If it goes like this is just it'll be just another one in the classical shakeout attempts. Don't we agree? If this doesn't continue down, this will just be a classic shakeout for crypto. It's continuing. Everybody's trying to find the bottom that it just hasn't allured itself yet to. Nobody wants $1. Nope. No. I'm not scared either. Nope. I don't say I don't sell precious metals for no reason. I don't care what price I bought them at. The only way I would convert them is if I'm converting silver to gold just to alleviate some of the weight issues because silver is heavy as hell when you have a certain amount. Oh yeah, it did, Mr. Stott. It gave back about $350 right now an ounce. But we have to remember how fast it went up. Gold went all the way up to like, what was it, $5,600? So yeah, this is nothing right now. This isn't a bona fide recovery right now. This is where we're seeing if gold is going to come back up. If it's not, you're going to see 5,000 like a blink of the eye. If it is recovering, you know, by the end of the day, we should get back up near 5,400, in my opinion. But if it's not recovering, you can see a lot of volatility still. We're basically retesting those areas of concern that should have been support on the way down as resistance. I know it's all an illusion. I know. Like to me, it's just so tough because I feel like the scariest part it's not scary about holding metals. I'm saying for the person who buys, let's say you bought at $118, right? And it goes to $175 in 6 months or 3 months or a month and a half. But you have to see it go from 118 like this morning to 106. Now, if those people are on paper, they're going to cut their losses right away. If they own the metal, well, the whole point of owning metals is you're supposed to increase your purchasing power from where you bought it. If you're buying it and your purchasing power is going down 20 or 30%, that means you bought it in it can never technically be a wrong spot with metals, but the rate of return, you have to look for hyperbolic movements so that you don't get caught in a trap that you sit there and you're actually deflating yourself. I'm telling you, the talking heads on the news, Tom Lee, etc., saying metals are going to rotate into crypto is going to happen, but just way later. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've been talking about that rotation, but I don't like hearing them talk about it on the news because I don't trust any of them scumbags. The only reason I even talk about Tom Lee and Bitmine is because if you want to buy Ethereum, you don't need to do it in crypto. You'd buy their company if you think there's going to be a move. I've talked about it for years, and even more this year and last year. When those companies move, they move faster than crypto. So Bitmine is the largest holder of Ethereum. Ethereum's down 6.6%. That company's down 9-point-something%. Bitcoin's down 5.1%. MicroStrategy, the largest holder of Bitcoin, is down 9.3%. If it goes up, it's the same thing. When it goes up, it's weighted even heavier. So if you buy it at the right time, which is not now, which is why I said that whole Vanguard buying, MicroStrategy just seemed like a trap to me because there was no reason, unless they're just looking for losses. Your next opportunity seemed to be at 113 or maybe even 73. So I'm not sure what kind of crack they were smoking. Because that looks sure as hell to me, and I know Vanguard can see that I'm topping reversal with the shoulder being built out right now on the right side. Like, they're not idiots. They're one of the world's largest asset managers. And if you notice on my emerging markets, 2 of them got chopped off. They weren't performing properly, and every 12 months I reevaluate. And the new one, I just didn't like a Fidelity. It was up $8 and during this movement. So I'm going to be reinvesting those into different emerging markets, and I'll show it when it's time. But I have to wait for it to be available. I think I had to wait for the sell and then the buy, for my money to be available again. So, but it's tax deferred. But the one only made me 11%, while the other ones had made me 33 and 38% in the emerging markets, respectively, over the past year. That one's made that. That one's made that. And all three of these respectively performed phenomenally, like I wanted. But the other one did not. It only had like 12% year over year, which is fine, but I'm looking for way more than that if I'm going to have a return year. Because some years are down years, so you want the good return years to outweigh the bad years that aren't returning. But I'm betting on the emerging markets because I think the USA is going to shit. So that's just my strategy. So I don't want to do it in anything else but my retirement, which is tax deferred. So every year I put the 7,000 maximum in, and this is my third year, but they raised it to 7,500. I was able to take that out of my mining accounts and, still have over 116 in there and be able to put it in for the tax deferment for the third year. And I'm just going to continue to do that, whether or not Who the hell is this? Hold on. How you doing? Oh, yeah. Does that keep it from like growing back and all that stuff? Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's no pets back there. The snow is a little deep back there now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We get some workout though, right? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, you can go right through there. I have that. I can't remember if I have it wrapped around the gate. You just unhook that. Yeah. Oh wow, it's already 11:26. Holy cromolies. We've been doing a lot of coverage today. How long have we been on? Oh my god, it's been an hour and 42 minutes. Man, the time sure does fly when we're doing this. I'm not ready to leave just yet. I just want to go make sure Julie's doing okay. I want to tell her what came and what they're doing in the backyard. The feds are at Tom's house. They're sick of this honesty bullshit. That's kind of funny.
Jerry is trying to get on the road for a long weekend camping trip. Gary is just sitting down to enjoy his perfectly crafted sandwich. Oh no, Gary and Jerry just received a last-minute meeting invite. Thankfully, Honor has the team covered with an AI meeting assistant to take notes, generate a summary, and capture action items. So Jerry can go camping, and Gary can enjoy his lunch break. Begin your schedule. Try now for free. Visit honor.ai or download the app. Partner with Jobs Ohio to see how your business and life work better together. We'll connect you to the best sites, earlier funding, and the top-tier talent you need to grow your business. We'll work with you to find the perfect location and build the workforce your company needs to succeed. Jobs Ohio's innovative programs have already helped businesses across technology, healthcare, manufacturing, and more thrive. Take the first step today at jobsohio.com.
Oakland County Animal Shelter has tons of adoptable all-stars ready to join your family. Adopt, don't shop, gang. Licensed by
Alright, sorry about that. Tom say he would cut his hair again if XRP goes under $2. Oh, no. No. None of that. None of that. I don't think I'll ever cut my hair again. If I'm being honest. I kind of like it. I like the no cut. Gold's still trucking up just a tiny bit. The ones that are really taking it on the chin are the, well, I guess it's, all the miners are taking it on the chin a little bit this morning, actually. I guess in silver, the crazy thing is depending on where you bought it, you could be down as much as, what, 7% almost right now in silver. Any news on the CFTC Clarity Act vote? We know next month, I think it's on Monday, that we're going to have, on Monday, I believe it is, the White House meets to discuss this crypto stuff. But we don't want the Clarity Act. I keep telling everybody, the best thing that could happen to us is they shred that pile of shit up, because this is supposed to be an unregulated market. You don't want regulation. I came into this market for the unregulated nature. I'll leave the market when it's fully regulated. I got plenty of opportunities to buy XRP and all this other stuff if I wanted in the stock market that's already regulated. It's in the AG committee right now and it's not going well. Good. No, it doesn't. XRP does not need regulation to be used. If you want it to be used as a bank, are you trying to get rich in crypto or are you trying to make the money for the corporations, my friends? Do you want Brad Garlinghouse, anybody associated with it, anybody who's associated with the bank side of it, anybody who's associated with, do you want them to get rich or do we want to get rich? If the banks get this regulation, they don't need us. They forced all that would mean is we've literally funded their project this entire time. And if we were smart enough to buy in and out of XRP, we were making life-changing money and being able to buy other assets with it after the market was over the cycle. Most people didn't do that. Can't think of many people, if any, who do what I do as far as that influencer, especially with the name I have, who is honest and did it like that and made life-altering money by being able to buy metals and stuff like that with the profits and being able to ride in miners and now have a portfolio where I can actually do something if I need to do something. But I don't just do something to do something. You know, that's the difference. I don't just do something to do something. Now, I've often talked about these cycles with metals. A lot of times if they continue rallies, they have these sharp declines so that they can 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15%. And the miners, they can start to shake out some liquidity. That's what they like to do. It's a very true nature. My saying, oh my God, it's all looking fine right now because we're still down 2%. I'm not saying it's looking fine, but we're having a nice little recovery here. So I want to see how it plays out. The day's still very young, everybody. We get so excited on the open all the time. But yeah, we gave them way too much control. And to be honest with you, retail, our fellow brothers and sisters, I see it every single day in here, begging for regulation. Go ahead, continue begging for a lower price in crypto. You might get the all-time pump for the exit of all of the institutions so that they can go into the regulated markets. But it doesn't help us. Haven't you noticed how Ripple, stablecoin, Ripple Bank has got the conditional approval, had an advancement a couple days ago. We're starting to move into that money. That's like we've said. But now, if you put too much regulation in crypto, what the hell is the point of trading it? All these become meme coins. That's what I'm trying to avoid. It is destined to happen because the big banks want control. The central banks in particular want control of this sector. It's infinite. It's finite. They don't even need real money now. They don't even need real currency and paper. They just need a digital block now. Do you know how much easier that's going to be? They don't even need to send and pick up money from the banks. They don't need to do a reverse repo or a repo. It's all on a screen. They just got to change the availability of liquidity. Hey, today we need to have 6 million or 6 billion XRP on hand. Tomorrow we only need 4 million. Well, we had a bad week. Now we need 7. It's so much easier. Or hey, we're doing bad. We need the XRP price to go down, or we're doing good. It's going up and it's making our books look like they have such a good way to do this, and it's going to be at the disposal of us. Look how many billions of XRP now are locked between the ETFs, between all of these different ventures like Canary Capital and XRPN and U and W, all these different things. There's so much XRP locked up now, and they're the buyers and sellers of last resort. And that's just the government. I believe XRPN is just like a Ripple IPO in disguise. Ashish, the guy who was partners, who left supposedly, has several $billion he's made, and now he created that. He's the guy who's leading that. So we should absolutely be using paper money, but it's almost impossible to do it the way we want to. I've gone to so many places now where they won't take your legal tender, and people are like, oh, they have to take it, it's legal tender. Well, technically they don't. They're technically a business. As long as they're not a public entity and they're actually a private business, they can do whatever the hell they want in between their doors. They could say, we only accept gold and silver at this register. They technically could. Hopefully, Elmer, for our sake, if it holds the $1.80, that's why I told the person with the short, when it hit that $1.78, that was your sell signal. Unless you got steeper balls and you're willing to risk it to $1.68 or $1.56. But that was the first destination where if I was a short trader, that's, you either look there to, to kind of, slowly exit or fully exit. But I'm not leverage trading, so I don't have to worry about that. I just feel sick to my stomach for the metal section because I had this dream, and if this is starting to play out as the dream, this would be bad. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. People are like, you're afraid? I'm not afraid for me. I'm afraid for the newcomers, just like I always am in crypto. I'm afraid of the newcomers. I don't want the new people to get kicked in the nuts. Well, I mean, we have no volume right now, so to buy here, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, so you have to make a gut decision. When somebody says, Tom, should I buy? I say no, because you're asking me if you should buy. I always say that, because if you're asking somebody else, you should not buy, because no matter what, if it goes down a little bit, you're just going to sell it anyhow because you weren't convinced. The last two are at 201. I can understand that's a 10% move down. If you have the strategy of every 10% down, but that can get costly too. I personally like it if I'm in a position like that, every 20% down. But technically, it's at a support structure. So 178, how am I going to say no? That's technically a support structure. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is just my own wacky brain working right now. So we can also say, is this forming some kind of descending consolidation that now that we're so severely oversold, that maybe, just maybe, let's take a look. What's XDC doing? XDC says, nope, nothing to see here yet. Okay, nothing to see. V-Chain's down 8.4%. Wow. Wow, that sell volume picked up here in that 4-hourly a little bit too. Volume predicts price. Volume predicts price, as scary as it is. It's not scary if you acknowledge it, but it is scary. I think the whole market is scary when you actually look at it for real. Especially if you're walking in with blinders on and you're being guided by somebody with the, you don't want to be led by the blind guy who doesn't understand what he's looking at or can't even see what he's looking at. Like, if you might as well be blind for some of the influencers we try to watch, because they look at a chart and it would be like looking at a map of a different planet and trying to act like you know how to navigate it. Or it'd be like living in the USA, never going to Japan, landing there on the soil and be like, oh, I'm going to be your guide here in Japan. But you've never even stepped foot in on Japan soil. So that's what I'm so deeply looking at this to see if this whole pullback on this time was just to dump the miners and get a little bit of liquidity. But right now we're below the technical gap area. That actually, you know what? It's pretty close. It's pretty close right now. We're at least back above this uptrending area. So we're going to make a big decision here. This is a big candle here in the 45-minute. Big. Because if you're looking for a reversal, you're looking for this to come all the way up and create itself like almost in a bullish doji to the top side. What you're not looking for is for this 45 to start dragging down now and then having an engulfing to the downside, because it hasn't filled anything over the top. This is a prototypical retracement back up after a significant, well, after a pretty nice drop. It just passed through the AG committee. What the Clarity Act did? Well, if we're looking for some kind of good news that could stop us at a support, not good for us, but good in the illusion for a big pump and dump.
Booking.com has all kinds of stays. Just laid back beach houses right for some. But off-brand for others.
Well, that's something different, but that's the wow. The Clarity Act passed through, not AG. Maybe you don't be able to figure it out. Let's see. Takes forever to get updates, but probably on TikTok or something too. Just don't have the patience to go on there right now. But hey, it could create a little bit of market push. I'm still in the short. I don't really care about it. Only a $200 investment. That's why I'm never scared leveraging, because I don't leverage my life savings. Take profit 1, 2. Excellent. That's good. At least you took profit, because that $1.78 is a real area. Because now technically, even if we're bearish, couldn't we come up to like $1.83, $7, $1.84? But you know, I gotta get going too on this live. I want to go make my protein. Julie's out here now. We'll keep watching the metals, obviously. We'll see if these are gonna bounce back now, and if we grab liquidity and now we can continue to move up. We'll obviously discuss further if we're rotating, you know, rounding a top, which you can't even come close to saying that right now. This has been a prototypical retracement. It's been less than 3% in totality on the day. Obviously, from the top, it's been about 5.3 or 5.4%. But right now, I don't really... I mean, the miners, yes. Obviously, the miners being down 6% mainly across the board is going to catch people like, oh my God. But that's normal. You expect this. The miners are overzealous right now. So you'd expect this. I would expect more downside to the miners, honestly. I kind of like MQ's area on PLG in that 290, 280 area. That's right around the area that I had on the chart. If it made the overzealous bounce back to the downside. 267 right there, but now in real time, if we extended it out, somewhere either between 259, maybe as low as 253. I think that's a realistic area right there. If this breaks down, if it breaks out, you know, but there was a big, strong sell candle. So that's a lot of sell volume that we have to account for and make sure that this is not just some tomfoolery here this morning. If it was just tomfoolery, we're going much higher, folks. You know, in time here and the immediate short term, if this was tomfoolery. If not, these are very important 45-minute hourly. In the next 2 hours, by the time it gets to 1 o'clock, you're going to want to see is gold over 5,400 and is silver back over 116 roughly. You know, on this candle, or is it back above 1? If it ends this candle and all of a sudden at 1 o'clock you see silver's at 111 or 110 and it's trying to trickle that side, and gold's back below 5,200, well, yeah, then we might have to talk a little bit deeper here. But as of right now, I'm not seeing anything that's outside the realm of normality when you're in a hyperbolic movement. Because you're going to get significant down tugs quickly because you're having such fast movement up. Would anybody even be saying anything right now if silver wouldn't have had that move to 120 and it was just slowly climbing up and it's at 112, 113? No. But you have to talk more about it because it was such a quick movement. So with that being said, thank you all so much. I'm blessed to have all of you in my audience. We had a couple gifted subs here this afternoon. Thank you for that. I didn't have to work for free for 2 hours. Joseph gifted a sub to HS for his first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, and Joseph Spoiler's in for over 1 year in the Tom's Army. So that was our donation, I believe, for the live. So we got at least one donation. No, 2 donations, because somebody joined the live classes. Who was this? Dan Hedger. Thanks for being a new member in Tom's Army and joining the live classes at the start of this live. See, what a beautiful soul you are. Thank you so much. You guys made me the happiest person today in the world. Unbelievably awesome. Thank you so much for that confidence, Dan. Thank you so much for that. Everybody have a blessed day. Mr. Stott, Edward, Mrs. Stott, Medic, Elmer, Xavier. Who else do I see on this last screen? Carl and Luke and Rubber Guard. Awesome. John Allen. Scott Lowry. Thank you all so much. A special shout out to the members of Tom's Army who sponsor this program so we can have ad-free during the actual lives themselves. They'll be put on and rerun, but I always forget. And for supporting the show. Divine, have a good one as well, my brother. Thank you guys for supporting the show. The members who have the badge next to your name, I really appreciate that going over and above. And allowing to be the single-handed sponsors of this show. It's something we do unique here, but I really do appreciate the pay-it-forward mentality, and I hope to get more of you on board. I hope to get more people joining this community. It's tough in crypto to get people to